Hi there, welcome to another version of the electric BMW 320i project. Yes, I survived the blizzard of 2015. This is New England, we get snow here. I don't know why the media goes so crazy about it, but well, that's what we have snow plows and shovels for. And the other big news, you can see I have no crutches and no brace. Well, I have a small brace I wear underneath my clothes now. So everything's going well there, and physical therapy should be walking around without a limp pretty soon. I do have one other feature. I bashed up my elbow pretty good too, and so that's being worked on. And I just have to wear this brace on that for a little while. But for the car, this week, I'm showing some new things on the BMS. Ongoing tale there. Have a new board. Had to make some changes, but it looks like we're getting closer to a working prototype. I also finished up my PTC heater and showing how that got wired up and put together and getting ready back in the car. I also have a system I developed for my rear battery box that allows me to slide the box out and be able to access the batteries, and I'll show you how that went together. And then one last thing, I have a piece from back when it was warm in August on doing underlayment inside the car prior to putting the carpeting in. So let's take a look. So, new stuff on the BMS. So I showed this last video about this nice board that I made with the cinch connector. Well, unfortunately, this 18-pin cinch connector that's on the front of this board, well, it only works for what's known as their mini enclosure. And unfortunately, this 4-inch board doesn't fit. 4-inch board is designed for what they call their small enclosure, or SE, and unfortunately the mini cinch connector header doesn't fit on that. So I ordered some of the 18-pin headers for the small or SE enclosure, and what do you know? Look how it comes out. They don't make it centered, they make it offset, because with this they either have 18 or they have 30 over here, or a total of 48 pins. So that required another spin of the BMS board, which now has the new connector on the right side of the board and laid out so that this now will fit correctly into the SE enclosure and work. So that means maybe finally we have a working BMS prototype, and should be getting these so that we're programming. Colin Kidder just worked on a program for this and has it talking to the FluxGate sensor that we have, the CAV 300, and that would be used in conjunction with this, which only measures voltage and temperature, to give you a full state of charge on the battery. So look for what comes up next with this, and I'll keep telling you how it's working out. So since I had to respin this board, I went ahead and changed one of the circuits that I was using. That was the for the thermistor measurement. I put together a Wheatstone Bridge that seems to be a lot more robust. And here I'm checking the calibration. There's a bunch of 10K resistors, and the Wheatstone Bridge is designed for 10K. It's just down here in the corner. And what I've been finding is that running this little program on the Arduino IDE, and it's just reading the ADC values, and you can see the high byte 0, which it should be, and low bytes 240. So that's pretty good calibration check. 240 out of that's on a 16-bit number, so 65,632. Pretty good. So that will be used in the program to calculate a temperature based on that resistance. Here, I finished the wiring finally on the PTC heater for the heater in the car. Got all the wires connected together, so these three are wired in series. was trying to figure out the best way to bring the high voltage in, and I decided to use the spade connectors that were part of the original feed through that brought in the 12 volts for the both for the motor, and also had all the switching in there with the resistors for the speed. So now what will happen is that motor will be controlled by a MOSFET circuit on the outside, and then these two connectors will go into that spade connector, and on the outside that'll go to a contactor to control the high voltage that will come to from the battery pack to drive this PTC heater. Here the wires are inserted into the feed-through connector. I decided to use not use the original wires because I doubted that the insulation on them would hold up to 400 volts, and that's what's going to be on these wires. These wires that are here now are Teflon coated. They're good to 600 volts, and everything else in here is either silicon or Teflon coated, and also have a silicon tube that's designed to help protect the two wires that are for the heater that go up through, just in case anything comes close to those high temperature PTCs. One of the last modifications I'm making to the rear battery box, it's going to have 54 cells in it, is a suspension method. One of the problems that I thought I might have is because this battery box is going to be tucked up under the rear seat deck and hard to get at to check cells and such, was a way to slide it forward. And I got this material. It's called 8020. I'll put the website up. But basically what it is this is just a high density polyfluoro material, actually polyethylene with some fluorine in it, and that's a groove, as you can see on the side, raised, and then what it's used with is this extruded aluminum material. This is what actually 820 refers to as the ratio of the size of this material, and that slot basically fits right into the groove that's on the bottom of the box, and this will now be situated in the trunk and span across the hole for the spare battery or spare tire, and support the box, as well as allow it to be able to be slid back and forth on these rails. So here's how this looks laid out of the trunk. These four aluminum rails will be bolted to the bottom of the trunk, and then the battery box will be set on top of that with those plastic guides, and obviously I'll have something that will latch the battery box down so it can't move while the car is under acceleration. But this will allow the box to be pushed up underneath the seat well all the way up to the back, and which you can see it would make it kind of difficult to get in there with a meter or anything, but then have the ability to slide it back out and work on it. Yeah, unfortunately this does going to take away the ability to have a spare tire here. I think in a first conversion, a flat tire is going to be one of my least concerns about driving this car. What I'm probably going to do, at least initially, I might put the Brusa charger back here in this well, and maybe another DC-DC converter. Here I have all the rails installed for the slider of the box, and as you can see, when the box is in the position where it would normally be, it's pretty hard to get anything in here. Certainly couldn't load any batteries in there and not really make any measurements. So that's the whole idea, is with that in there. Now the box will slide out and be able to put batteries in or work on testing, and then be able to slide it right back in. And during the operation of the car, there'll be some, obviously, something to hold that in place so it doesn't move, but that'll be pretty simple. And then this also allows access down here. No spare tire, but that's probably where the I'm going to put the Bruce charger at, since the charge port's right over here, and already ran the wires to take that back up to the front of the car.
Oh, back to a warmer time.
Alright, show you how easily this goes in. You just basically measure it to fit, cut it, and press it down. Cuts either with good scissors or razor knife, box cutter. It's a 3-pile ply layer. Has a thin aluminum layer and this tough top plastic rubber area, and then a rubber backing, which is adhesive coated. So you just peel off the adhesive. Line it up to where you want it to go, and press it down. What I found is to try and, when you have a uneven floor, is to try and work it from one edge and down so it covers the contours of the floor. I'm going to work out all the air bubbles. They also sell this little roller, good thing to pick up. It really helps to roll it out, get it flat. That's pretty much it. I'll throw the website up here so you can see. Pretty inexpensive. This was about 30 square feet that I ordered. It should be enough to cover all this. I'm leaving some of this, of the old stuff behind. This seems to be in pretty good shape, so really no reason to replace it. That's it for now. Alright, driver's side. All done. Makes it look pretty good. So next big thing is to get that new carpeting in here. That's going to be fun, cutting the holes, getting everything lined up just right. See how that goes. So you can see I got a BMS board that might be ready for prime time. We'll have to see. Have to build a little more code around it, and maybe next time, or maybe one video after that, I'll have it actually connected up to a set of batteries and making some measurements. You can see everything else. Now that I have 2 hands, not having held myself up to crutches, I can move stuff around and I'll be able to start building my car again. Next thing that will be is the batteries to go in, and then the motor, and should be ready to start rolling, although there's a lot more electronics that have to be built. But that will be the subject of more videos. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.